What's up, wrestling fans, and welcome to TJ Knows Wrestling. Thank you for joining me. If you're listening on podbean.com, iTunes, or youtube.com, thank you. And I just want to let everybody know, please follow me on social media at TJJones8 on Instagram and TJJones8 on Twitter. And also follow me on YouTube at TJ Knows Wrestling. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all very much. I am here tonight to give you the official Raw review, the going home show to Extreme Rules. Everybody knows by now about the Fatal 5-Way match that will take place at Extreme Rules. The winner will be the number one contender and will challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. And boy, let me tell you, he had some pretty good wrestling tonight, man. I was highly surprised. I mean, it's been a while since Raw tried to put on a very solid show. Wasn't the greatest show in the world, but it was a solid show. On a scale of 1 to 10, I think I would give the show a 5. Very average show. But in comparison to the shows that Monday Night Raw has done in the past, that is saying a lot. Okay? Let me say this. The way Raw was set up tonight, they promoted a triple threat match between Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Bray Wyatt in the main event consisting of, the main event was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. And I gotta say, when I first joined Monday Night Raw, when I was looking at it, I said, hey, this seems like this is going to be a big deal. All these guys are very good talent. These guys could put on great matches. So I knew I was going to see some pretty good stuff, if these two matches were going to take place. But, I will talk about that a little bit later. But first, I want to talk about the opening to Monday Night Raw. It started with Miz TV. And anybody that knows me know that I like The Miz. I think that The Miz is by far probably the top heel in all of WWE. And I know a lot of people may look at me saying that and saying The Miz is the top heel in WWE. Absolutely. Because I have a different take on what a top heel actually is. I'm talking about a person that actually generates heat, actual heat, legitimate heat. Not like Roman Reigns heat, where Roman Reigns is supposed to be a fan favorite, but he's getting booed out of the building. That is what I call a natural heel. That is why I consider The Miz as being one of the top heels in WWE. Well, him and Maurice come down to the ring. They start Miz TV, and he starts talking about how he is going to become the Intercontinental Champion for the 7th time, and how Dean Ambrose basically brought down the Intercontinental Championship. But before, when The Miz was champion, he brought it back up, and that's true. I'm not going to sit right here and say that The Miz was lying about that. When The Miz was Intercontinental Champion, the belt seemed like it mattered. Now it just seems like it's lost in limbo again. When The Miz was walking around with it, parading it, it felt like it was a big deal. Dean Ambrose walking around with the Intercontinental Championship, I really don't know. I mean, Dean Ambrose, it seems like he just one of those guys, just one of those, one-trick ponies. He comes out, he's supposed to be the lunatic fringe. He does the same old shtick, and nothing really changes about him. I mean, his promo styles are always the same. The way that he wrestles in the ring is always the same. And I feel like we done got everything we can possibly get out of Dean Ambrose. Now, I didn't know Dean Ambrose before he got to WWE. I know he was known for his, his eccentric promos when he was Johnny Moxon. But what I see about Dean Ambrose now, I mean, I'm just not a big fan. I never really been a big fan of Dean Ambrose. I mean, I've always kind of enjoyed what he did and some of his antics, but never really been a real big wrestling. When it comes to the wrestling, I've never been a real big fan of Dean Ambrose, and I really don't feel like he's doing anything for the Intercontinental Championship. But The Miz was absolutely right about mentioning that, and he also said that he was going to become the Intercontinental Champion for the 7th time. And he introduced his guests, who was Sheamus and Cesaro. Sheamus and Cesaro come on down to the ring, and they talk about how WrestleMania was supposed to be their moment, but the Hardys came out of nowhere and stole their moment, and nobody paid them any attention, and the fans turned their back on Cesaro, which I like what Sheamus and Cesaro are doing right now. I like it because it's making them matter. I mean, you look at these two guys, I mean, in my opinion, they're probably the most underappreciated talents that they have in WWE. Both of these guys are solid workers. If you put them in a ring, they're going to put on good matches. But I just don't feel like the WWE is appreciating them the way that they should. Cesaro can be a world champion. If Jinder Mahal can go to SmackDown and become world champion, Cesaro can go to SmackDown and become a world champion. And honestly, down the line, I hope that the WWE does that for Cesaro. I feel like Cesaro, if he was to get a singles run and the company would get behind him, I feel like Cesaro could be a champion. He can be a guy that we look forward to watching on SmackDown. I just feel like him being in a tag team with Sheamus, that's okay right now. But in the future, I feel like you need to go ahead and split these guys up and watch Cesaro do his thing because it's well deserved, man. Well deserved for Cesaro because, man, he's by far one of the best talents that they have in WWE, and it's a shame that Vince McMahon doesn't have enough confidence in Cesaro in order to give him some kind of push. But you can push Jinder Mahal. I mean, I really just don't understand that. You know, Cesaro can wrestle circles around Jinder Mahal. I mean, I understand the concept of Jinder Mahal, why he became champion and stuff like that. SmackDown being a land of opportunity. Well, I think they need to do something with Cesaro in the future, but I digress. But they talk about the Hardy Boys, and they say that they're going to become Raw Tag Team Champions again. So down to the ring comes Dean Ambrose. He interrupts the Miz TV, and he says that he's going to get in the ring, but the Miz says, 3 of us and 1 of you. You may be crazy, but I don't think you're stupid. But, you know, of course, Dean Ambrose said, yeah, I'm crazy, but I'm not stupid. So he bags up a little bit, and out comes the Hardys. And now we have a 6-man tag team match. Sheamus and Cesaro and the Miz versus the Hardys and Dean Ambrose. Good back and forth match. I mean, it wasn't nothing to hoop and holler about. I'm not going to lie to you. The match looked a little bit sloppy. I seen some of the spots in a match. You know, it just seems like, you know, the guys weren't on the same page. I seen one move in which Matt Hardy was going for the twist of fate, and it looked like the Miz, you know, kind of crouched himself down. You know, the start of the twist of fate is supposed to be Matt Hardy kicking him to the midsection, but it seemed like the Miz, you know, kind of anticipated a little bit early, and it looked like the timing was just off in this match. It wasn't a bad match, but it was a lot of sloppy spots. It seems like the Hardys, I mean, I know they're up there in age. They seem like, you know, they're kind of tired. You know, it just wasn't a very, I guess, fluid match, I should say. But Dean Ambrose and the Hardys pick up the win after Jeff Hardy hits the Swanton Bomb after the twist of fate from Matt Hardy, and they get the momentum going into Extreme Rules. Well, I think that Sheamus and Cesaro are going to get the win this Sunday at Extreme Rules, but the Hardys, they've been absolutely on fire. And I know a lot of people aren't very happy about the Hardys gimmick. Everybody thought that they were going to have the broken Matt Hardy, broken universe gimmick, but we all know about the lawsuits from TNA to the Hardy Boys and WWE trying to, you know, try to see what's going on with that. So right now we just have the generic Hardy Boys that we all knew and loved from back in the day, the vintage Hardy Boys, as Michael Cole would say. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I always was a Hardy Boys fan growing up, but I can understand why fans will probably be upset because it seems like the WWE, with this particular direction, it makes Jeff Hardy stand out more than Matt Hardy. It seems like how it used to be. Matt Hardy put a lot of his heart and a lot of his soul into the broken Matt Hardy gimmick, and it's sad that TNA is just so selfish. They're just so selfish. They won't allow Matt Hardy to use a gimmick that he put on the map. And regardless that they feel like they have the copyrights to it and all that kind of stuff, Matt Hardy is the reason why people were tuning in to TNA while he was there. I mean, honestly, nobody is checking for TNA anymore. Nobody cares about what TNA is doing. I know I don't. I haven't watched TNA in years. But I tell you what, I used to go on YouTube and check out some of the things that the Hardys were doing because of Matt coming in and coming up with this gimmick. And it's sad that he can't use this gimmick and he's basically lost in limbo. And I really don't really care for it. But the Hardys and Dean Ambrose get the win. Sheamus and Cesaro yet lose again. I mean, and The Miz takes the pinfall, which I'm interested to see. I think that the Miz is going to become Intercontinental Champion this Sunday, so I don't feel like the pinfall is going to hurt him. But I'm interested to see if Sheamus and Cesaro will be able to knock off the Hardys, because I want to see what kind of direction that they're going to go in when it comes to the Hardys, because I see the Revival were on TV on tonight, so that's interesting to know. Maybe we'll see a Hardys versus the Revival for the tag team champions down the line, like at SummerSlam or something. That sounds pretty exciting. Next, man, let me just say this. Next, we had something that I feel like I have to discuss, because this was just absolutely downright ridiculous. I seen that Corey Graves get a phone call. He got a phone call, or a text message rather. He gets a text message, and he goes to the back, and I'm like, man, what's going on here? What's going on? So he walks away from the desk, and he goes to the back talking to Kurt Angle. He goes talk to Kurt Angle, and he shows Kurt Angle a text message. And Kurt Angle started talking about how it's going to ruin his credibility and this and that. And I'm like, man, what's going on here? I mean, I just don't understand, why would they even try to do something like that? Why would they, out of all people, why would Corey Graves get a text message about Kurt Angle? I mean, come on, man. Like, I can understand maybe some executive or something like that, talking to Kurt Angle. But all of a sudden, he's like, yeah, I got friends in high places, and I know people, and people tell me things. But come on, man. Like, Corey Graves, man, I mean, honestly, why would Corey Graves know a secret that is being held by upper management, or find out a secret about Kurt Angle? All those people in the back that Kurt Angle probably can be close to, they're going to pick Corey Graves to walk away from the announcer desk. Now, I'm going to say this, man. I like the touch. I like the fact of how they're using the commentators and stuff like that to push storylines. I like that. But I just didn't think it made sense to use Corey Graves to go to the back to talk to Kurt Angle. I like the interaction between the commentators and the wrestlers too. I like how Big Cass came out there, when Corey Graves and Booker T were talking about who attacked Enzo Amore, and Big Cass came out there and got to the face of Corey Graves, because he felt like Corey Graves was insinuating that he had something to do with the attack on Enzo Amore. So I like that move right there. I think that it was smart, to use the commentators. But when it comes to the whole Kurt Angle situation and how they use Kurt Angle, Corey Graves to talk to Kurt Angle, I just thought that was just absolutely ridiculous, man. They could have, come on, man. You could have used Booker T in that matter. I would understand that one better. Booker T and Kurt Angle, they go way back. From WWE. Then they were in TNA together for a little while, part of the Main Event Mafia. I can see somebody calling, Booker T in order to do that. But looking at Corey Graves, man, like, come on. I know they did an interview on the WWE Network, talking about Kurt Angle and why did he come back to the WWE. But all of a sudden, he's getting text messages talking about what Kurt Angle did and all that kind of stuff, man. I'm like, come on, man. Like really? And just knock it off. So I really didn't like that segment. I really, honestly didn't care for it. Then we had Elijah Sampson versus Zach Evans. Zach. Full name was Zach Evans, man. Elijah Sampson versus Zach Evans. Zach Evans, local jobber, goes up against Elijah Sampson. If you don't know who he is, I encourage you to check out NXT. Guy has a lot of talent. From what I hear, according to sources, that Vince McMahon really loved Elijah Sampson. That's the reason why he was called up so early. A lot of the backstage, management felt like Elijah Sampson came up a little bit too early. But Vince McMahon liked him, liked his gimmick, liked his size, so he brought him up. And he went up against Zach Evans and just absolutely destroyed this man. Beat him into a bloody pulp almost, I mean, of course, it's PG, so you ain't see no blood, but y'all get the point. Elijah Sampson showing the mean streak, showing the toughness, and basically laid waste to Zach Evans, making a point. I like Elijah Sampson, man. I like his gimmick. I think that his style, the way that he fights, it basically lines up with the gimmick that he has. And I like how he goes into the ring. He's no nonsense. He's right there in your face. Man, this guy's future is bright. I think that you can put a championship on this guy down the line, possibly become the Intercontinental Champion down the line. Of course, we know his first match versus Dean Ambrose, how that ended with The Miz. So maybe we'll see something like a triple threat match, with all three of those individuals in a match and Elijah Sampson becoming Intercontinental Champion. But I want to see him a little bit more in the ring. I mean, against Dean Ambrose, I think he did a good job. I didn't feel like the jobber tonight was really necessary. But I can understand that you're trying to save your talent, so you want to just go ahead, get a win over a local guy that means absolutely nothing. So I can understand that. But Elijah Sampson, he looks very, very tough. He looks very, very serious. And he seems like he's going to be a threat down the line. So I'm interested to see what WWE is going to do with him. I don't want him to be lost in the shuffle. And I don't want him to be pushed too fast. Because if you get pushed too fast sometimes, you lose that momentum. So Elijah Sampson picks up the win against Zach Evans, man. Like, man, really, what is Zach Evans? It is what it is, man. This is TJ Knows Wrestling right here on Podbean.com, iTunes, and YouTube.com. Once again, follow me on Instagram at TJJones8. Follow me on Twitter at TJJones8, and follow me at TJ Knows Wrestling on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, and thank you. Now we have the triple threat match. We have Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe versus Bray Wyatt. Before the match even started, we seen Samoa Joe looking at the monitor, staring at it, watching as Finn Balor makes his way down to the ring, which honestly, in my opinion, didn't make much sense, because when I was looking at it, I'm like, he's watching Finn Balor come out to the ring, and then all of a sudden, like a little while later, Finn Balor just comes and have his entrance all over again. I mean, I ain't feel like that made any sense. But Samoa Joe was looking at the monitor, watching Finn Balor come out to the ring, and then he was talking about how he knows about Finn Balor, and he watched the 24 special on Finn Balor, but he wasn't watching it to see what happened to him. He wanted to see, what kind of weaknesses Finn Balor had and how he's going to use that to his advantage. And then all of a sudden Bray Wyatt comes in and he talks about how Samoa Joe comes from a long line of warriors, but that's not going to help him. He's going to go on and he's going to face Brock Lesnar and become the #1 contender, and Finn Balor, he's going to beat him too. So they have the triple threat match. I thought it was a good, solid match. Nothing to hoop and holler about once again. I think that it was, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd get a match about a 6. A lot of, man, it was really, really slow. I mean, it was one of those methodical matches, real slow. Not a lot of real high spots, not a lot of real action. And we see that Finn Balor gets the win with the coup. Well, he doesn't get the win. He goes for the coup de grace. I'm sorry. He goes for the coup de grace, and he's going to pin Bray Wyatt, but Samoa Joe throws Finn Balor out of the ring and steals the victory, pins Bray Wyatt 1, 2, 3 to get the win in the triple threat match. Samoa Joe gets the momentum going into Extreme Rules. Once again, Bray Wyatt getting buried for absolutely no reason at all. I mean losing clean, basically. No kind of smiles or nothing like that. Just basically getting his shoulders pinned to the mat. I mean, why would anybody actually care about Bray Wyatt at this stage? Bray Wyatt gives you some of the best promos. Get you some of the best promos that you probably ever heard out of a wrestler in a long time, since you probably were looking at Jake the Snake Roberts. And they just go out here and just makes the man lose time after time. Or some kind of weird scenario causes him to win the match. Why can't Bray Wyatt win clean? Why can't Bray Wyatt be able to go out there, talk the talk, and walk the walk? This man going out here losing matches clean like this, man, looking weak, looking sorry. But how am I supposed to believe that Bray Wyatt can beat Brock Lesnar when he can't even beat 195 pounds of Finn Balor? Give me a break, man. Who did the booking tonight? Who booked this, man? I'm tired of watching Bray Wyatt just fall. Fall between the cracks like this, man. This guy has all the talent. Bray Wyatt can be a top guy, but I don't know why they decide to keep on pushing Bray Wyatt back. I didn't understand why they took Bray Wyatt off SmackDown Live. The guy was flourishing. Goes back to the Survivor Series match. This guy gets the pin over Roman Reigns, man. He goes and have a feud with Randy Orton. He ends up going to the Elimination Chamber, winning his first WWE Championship. We all know about the WrestleMania match between him and Randy Orton, where it was some straight hot garbage, but that's because they rushed the feud, because they were trying to switch him up, which I do not understand at all, man. Why would you take Bray Wyatt off SmackDown Live? It seemed like he was regenerating his career. His career seemed like it was on the up and up. And then they're going to go ahead and take him off SmackDown Live for absolutely no reason, man. They did not need him on Monday Night Raw. This guy was doing some of his best work on SmackDown Live. He was the top guy on SmackDown Live. So why would you take Bray Wyatt off television? I can understand probably down the line you want to face Finn Balor, but that can be a WrestleMania match. Maybe that can be one of those interpromotional matches. Bray Wyatt is getting lost in the shuffle. When you have Roman Reigns, when you got Seth Rollins, when you got Finn Balor, when you got Braun Strowman, where is Bray Wyatt's place? Getting pinned to the mat. That's exactly where his place is, and it's embarrassing because Bray Wyatt has all the talent in the world, has probably more talent than some of the guys that WWE is actually pushing, and it's a shame that they're using him like this. I'm just absolutely upset because you have all these guys that don't have the promo skills, don't have the in-ring work like Bray Wyatt has. They're getting pushed to the moon, but this man is out here. His career is in limbo, and it's an embarrassment. Absolutely embarrassing the way that they pushing Bray Wyatt. But Samoa Joe gets the win, and he knocks off Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. I'm interested to see what's going to happen at Extreme Rules with this Fatal 5-Way match. Two of the other guys that are part of the match, they had a main event match, and I'm going to talk about just a little bit later. We had a backstage segment with the Revival. Well, you see, with the Revival, they were talking about, where they've been. Of course, we know about Dash Wilder. He had to get his jaw wired shut, and they were just basically talking about, how they were somewhere being top guys, and backstage. The backstage interviewer asked them where were they, when Enzo Amore was attacked, and they were saying they were out doing top guy stuff, whatever that means. But they had some footage that showed last week on Monday Night Raw. They showed that the Revival were walking in the back, and she asked a question. The interviewer asked a question, why were they at Monday Night Raw? And of course they said yet again they're doing top guy stuff, and they don't need a reason. They're still part of Monday Night Raw despite the fact that they haven't been on TV and Dash Wilder is hurt. But basically a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo to try to, I guess, get the concentration off the fact that they could have possibly did it. I don't believe that the Revival had anything to do with the attack on Enzo Amore. I think that it's going to be Big Cass. I know a lot of people may not want to see Enzo and Cass break up, but Enzo and Cass are boring, okay? Enzo and Cass put me to sleep. That same old shtick every single time. My name is Enzo Amore, certified G, bona fide, all that kind of, man, look, man, I don't care anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? How many times are we going to hear about this guy being a certified G and a bona fide stud, and we actually care? All right? They go into the ring, they talk a whole bunch of noise, and we see Enzo Amore losing matches. We don't see Big Cass taking any pinfalls because, of course, we don't want to see that, especially Vince McMahon. So I think that Vince McMahon probably has some plans in the work with turning Big Cass into a heel. I think that it'll be a good move. I don't feel like these guys can go any further than they actually are going. I really just don't. I mean, you can give them the Raw Tag Team Championships, but honestly, who really wants to see that? Maybe some some people that probably follow him in NXT, but I just feel like Enzo and Cass have run their course and they're boring and nobody really cares about them anymore like they used to. I mean, these guys were white hot when they first came in the night after WrestleMania. Everybody knew their name. Everybody was really behind them. But now it just seems like they're just, lost in the shuffle, just like a Bray Wyatt is. So I think that they need some kind of shakeup. I think that you need to have these guys going up against each other. I mean, you can have themselves like a big stipulation match at SummerSlam, Enzo versus Cass. I mean, you want to have that stipulation match because Big Cass is big and huge, and then you have small Enzo Amore. So you want to have some kind of stipulation to give Enzo Amore a fighter's chance in order to beat Big Cass. There's a lot of plans in the future for Big Cass. When it comes to what Vince McMahon envisions him. So I think that, watching Big Cass go up against Enzo Amore and having a few probably going into the summer and late into the fall might be beneficial to both of those guys. And it also will elevate Big Cass into a main event player. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I'm interested to see if they are going to allow the storyline to say that Big Cass actually did something to him. I'm interested to know that because it would be interesting. Then we had Noam Dar versus Rich Swann. Man, let me say this about the cruiserweights, okay? Look, I can understand it's supposed to be a cruiserweight match, but why do we have to change the ropes purple all the time? Why do we have to change the ring and the lighting and all that kind of stuff, to promote 205 Live? I don't need ring ropes. I don't need lighting for me to know that these guys are cruiserweights. You don't need to do all that. I can understand you're trying to promote 205 Live on the WWE Network, but purple ropes are not going to do it. I feel like it's just a waste of time changing the ropes back and forward like that, during a cruiserweight match. I mean, it just don't make any sense, man. You don't need ropes for me to know that Rich Swann is a cruiserweight. You don't need ropes to let me know that Noam Dar is a cruiserweight. So they had a match and they were accompanied. Rich Swann was accompanied by Sasha Banks and, of course, Noam Dar with his girlfriend, Alicia Fox. Rich Swann picks up the win. Sasha Banks and Rich Swann will be in a mixed tag team match versus Noam Dar and Alicia Fox at Extreme Rules. And my, how the mighty have fallen. How has Sasha Banks fallen, man? Like, the Sasha Banks stock is basically plummeted over the last couple months. Sasha Banks went from being the main event at a pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, to wrestling matches with Alicia Fox. Now, Alicia Fox is a seasoned veteran. She's been in WWE for about 10 years. And I can understand that, maybe the WWE wants to push Alicia Fox because, when you've been with a company that long, I mean, I feel like you deserve to, get some kind of elevation. I mean, you've been there that long. You've been putting in work. You've been paying dues. So why not? But why would you go up against Sasha Banks, man? Sasha Banks is a 3-time Raw Women's Champion, and she's going up against Alicia Fox. I don't know who Sasha Banks upset in the back. I don't know if she must have spit in somebody's coffee or what. But Sasha Banks have fallen off tremendously. There is no reason why Sasha Banks needs to be wrestling Alicia Fox. Man, give that to Dana Brooke. I mean, give it to Emma. Somebody like that. Dana Brooke is a work in progress, right? So why don't you go ahead and put those two in the ring? Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke, two hungry competitors that just want to be seen, that wants the universe to know who they are. Let them go at it and give Sasha Banks something a little bit more credible. I mean, honestly, why is she not involved in the Alexa Bliss Bayley match? Why is she not involved in that? Why don't they try to turn her into a heel? Maybe have her go up against her best friend Bayley. Everybody knows that storyline works. Now, we know about all these storylines that they always try to recreate, like the one they did tonight with Alexa Bliss with This Is Your Life. But some storylines seem to always work. The best friend who turns on the other best friend always seems to work for some apparent reason. The non-American storyline always seems to work. The best friend, the brother versus brother storyline. There are certain storylines that always seem to work, But there are certain storylines, in my opinion, that just do not work. Which leads me to the next segment, Alexa Bliss, This Is Your Life for Bayley. Look, WWE, check this out, man. I can understand that The Rock, Mankind, This Is Your Life segment was the highest rated segment in the history of Monday Night Raw. I can understand that. But that is like catching lightning in a bottle. Stop doing these This Is Your Life segments, man, because they suck. They suck. If you don't have the guy to give the right type of charisma that would be able to grab the crowd the way that Mick Foley and The Rock did, then it's not going to work. Alexa Bliss is a great talker on the mic. She's one of the best talkers in the women's division, hands down. But you're asking too much of her in order for her to ask these questions and also control the crowd at the same time. She's not ready for that. She's not that type of talent yet. Why would you even put her in that type of position? And these This Is Your Life segments, man, oh my God, man, stop it. Nobody cares. The crowd was yelling, this is boring. Nobody wants to see this. Change the channel. Nobody cared about the This Is Your Life segment. All you have to do is allow Alexa Bliss to go out there and give us something strong to say for a go-home show. You don't need her to go ahead setting up props and getting old school teachers and old boyfriends and best friends. You don't need that stuff. All you need is for Alexa Bliss to go out there with a kendo stick. No woman match has ever had a kendo stick stipulation. Not to my knowledge. Not in WWE. All she has to go out there to do is give a promo and demonstrate how she's going to get the kendo stick off the pole. That's it. All she has to do is stand in the middle of the ring, talk about how Bayley can't get extreme. That seems like that's the storyline that they're trying to go. And just say that I am going to get up here. I'm going to take this kendo stick down. Let her demonstrate it. And tell her, you know what I'm saying, and show what she's going to do with it. That's it. Give a strong promo like that. You don't need to get school teachers and ex-boyfriends and all that kind of stuff out there in order for you to push a storyline. Because it makes absolutely no sense. Let these women brawl to try to promote this match. Because right now, you're showing that Bayley is just, I don't know, just this happy-go-lucky person, just happy to be there. And Alexa Bliss is a bully. But let's just show, like, let's give a little demonstration. Let them, you know, throw each other to the guardrail a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let them brawl a little bit. Let the referees come out there and break them up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they're exchanging shots with kendo sticks. Do something, you know, to promote the match. You don't have to go with the This Is Your Life segment because they just don't work anymore. That is like catching lightning in a bottle. So please, WWE, stop with the This Is Your Life segments because they do not work. You did it with John Cena. It didn't work. You tried to do it tonight with Bayley. It did not work. So stop doing the This Is Your Life segments. Stop trying to rekindle that flame that was Mankind and The Rock, because there is only one Mankind and there's only one great one that will be able to pull something like that off in order for it to generate a lot of ratings. So stop it, and I don't want to see it again. I really just don't want to see that ever again as long as I live, man. We done with the This Is Your Life segment. Titus O'Neil goes up against Kalisto. He comes out with Apollo Crews. Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews walk out to the ring. As we know that he has this whole Titus brand thing, which is basically, you know, if I can say one thing, you know, it's really very cringe type activity going on between him and Apollo Crews. I like the direction that they're going in, you know, like having Titus O'Neil be like his promoter and stuff like that. But Apollo Crews, he just needs a mean streak, man. He just seems like, I don't know. Apollo Crews has all the talent in the world. I mean, he has a great combination of speed and power. This guy can be something great. But I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't know what the WWE wants to do with him. But he needs some kind of mean streak. If you're going to make him a villain, you know, make him a villain. If you're going to make him a good guy, make him a good guy. I mean, I know they're probably saying they don't have any charisma, but if you don't have any charisma, like, make him a bad guy and give him something interesting to say, or let Titus O'Neil be his mouthpiece, or get somebody else that can go out there and promote him, man, and you know what I'm saying, and let him just go up in there and just do the dirty work. If you're gonna have this little issue with Kalisto, let him just go out there, you know, and beat down Kalisto. You know, like push Titus O'Neil out the way, let him get down, you know what I'm saying, and start hammering Kalisto all in the face. And, you know, like, show, you know what I'm saying, that he has a mean streak, man. This whole Titus brand coming out there smiling, shucking and jiving, and let's take selfies on the cell phone. I'm not into all that. I just want to see something happen with Apollo Crews. I hate to see guys that have talent get it wasted because WWE doesn't know what to do with them, or they just don't feel like these guys have what it takes. Because Apollo Crews does have what it takes. I mean, you don't get talent like Apollo Crews coming through your doors every day. So they need to find something interesting to do with him. This whole Titus brand situation, it can work, but they need to show us something, man. Right now, just some kind of comedy bit that's not funny. You know, I know they're trying to be funny. It's one of those situations where some people are just naturally funny. They don't try. It's just effortless. And then you got guys that just try to be funny. You know, it's almost like if you walk through the door and you trip on a towel. That's funny. You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't happen naturally. Like you just walked. You know what I'm saying? You just walked and you just tripped. So it did happen naturally. So you know what I'm saying? You just walked in, you tripped on the towel, and you fell. But if you put the towel there and you open the door and all of a sudden you fall. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not funny because you know what you were going to do. I feel like it's the same way with Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. They're trying too hard to be funny. And this is going absolutely nowhere. So they need to go ahead and reevaluate that. And WWE needs to show the fans what they're actually trying to do with this and where is it going. Because right now it's just like change the channel type stuff going on. You had Neville and TJP versus the gentleman Jack Gallagher and Austin Aries. Now, Austin Aries picked up the win by submission. He makes Neville tap out. These two have a match this Sunday at Extreme Rules. I think these guys have good chemistry. I don't want to see Neville lose the Cruiserweight Championship, but I know most likely he will. Neville has put the Cruiserweight Championship on the map. I like Neville as a bad guy. When he was a good guy, I mean, he was okay. But this mean streak, the way Neville is, Neville can be a top heel on a TV show. You know, the way that he is. I mean, I know they have him to be the leader of the Cruiserweight division. But this whole bad guy persona, like when he comes out there and how mad he looks and how he's going to just run straight through you, that can work. I mean, no matter if he's being a Cruiserweight champion or a WWE champion, he is believable. And I like the way that they're pushing Neville to be that top guy, you know, as the top heel in the Cruiserweight division. But Austin Aries, I mean, I'm not really a big fan of his. You know, I mean, he does great work. I know a lot of people know him from TNA. Like I said, I'm not a TNA fan, so I didn't watch him there. But Austin Aries, he does do some solid work in the ring, but I just want to see Neville be Cruiserweight champion going into SummerSlam. But I know Austin Aries most likely is going to beat him because I guess, you know, Neville has been Cruiserweight champion for quite some time. So it's probably time to see the championship change hands. I think that he put enough prestige on the Cruiserweight championship. I think that he put enough face on the Cruiserweight Championship in order for it to change hands. The other guys that had it, like TJ Perkins and Rich Swann, really didn't know that much about those guys, but Neville, he put it on the map. I mean, we all know about Neville from what he did in NXT and then him coming over to WWE and wowing us, and then he gets hurt, comes back, you know, and turns into this top heel, calling himself the king of the Cruiserweights, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'm looking forward to seeing some good stuff in the future from Neville, but right now I just feel like being a Cruiserweight champion, I think it's all over for him. I think Austin Aries is going to beat him at Extreme Rules, just like he beat him tonight. Of course, we know Neville absolutely just went crazy after the end of the match, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen between these guys. I mean, they put on a good match at WrestleMania. Want to see another match between these two that lives up to the hype just like it did at WrestleMania. Then we have the main event. The main event, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Man, what can I say? What can I say what has not been said already about Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns. Oh my goodness, man. WWE, is Roman Reigns like the only wrestler, in WWE or something? Well, I mean, for the last couple weeks, Roman Reigns has beaten Finn Balor. The next week, Finn Balor goes into the ring, says that he never lost the championship, and all of a sudden Paul Heyman comes out and promotes Finn Balor, saying that, hey, if anybody needs to face Brock Lesnar, it should be you. You have all the talent in the world. I mean, just gassing the guy up. But we supposed to pretend like we just didn't see Finn Balor lose to Roman Reigns on last week? Like, are we supposed to? I guess we have the Men in Black, brain neuralizer or something like that. We don't supposed to remember what happened last week. This guy got pinned clean by Roman Reigns. Then fast forward to this week, we have Seth Rollins going up against Roman Reigns, and he gets pinned clean. Why? Why would Seth Rollins get pinned clean? Seth Rollins is one of the top stars in WWE. Okay, you got Samoa Joe, who has beef with Seth Rollins. You have guys like Bray Wyatt, who have beef with Roman Reigns. How about having one of those guys come out there and break the matchup? Why would you need Roman Reigns to beat Seth Rollins clean on free TV, which has never been done before, may I add? Roman Reigns has never beat Seth Rollins clean, from my knowledge. I mean, honestly, I think something always happens, some kind of schmize or something like that. Roman Reigns never beat Seth Rollins clean, from my knowledge. And if I'm wrong, please show me. I think they may have had a match on Monday Night Raw when Seth Rollins was a heel, and maybe Roman won that match. But I don't think that he ever beat Seth Rollins clean. But for them to have just this match and allow Roman Reigns to beat Seth Rollins clean, I am just absolutely sick to my stomach. WWE, I mean, come on, man. We know that Roman Reigns is supposed to be the top guy. He beat The Undertaker. He eliminated more people than anybody in the Royal Rumble match. He done had 3 straight main events at WrestleMania. We all know that. We understand. But Roman Reigns is a human being, okay? We understand this. We don't need to have him beating Seth Rollins clean, a guy who is one of the top guys as well. You got 2 babyface in a ring going at it. Why was there not a breakup? Why would you promote this on free TV? I just don't understand. The match itself was good. I mean, this guy was going at it. I mean, some great spots, great chemistry, all that. But why would you allow 2 babyface to go at it when there is a match and you let Roman Reigns go over? Roman Reigns has went over Bray Wyatt. He has went over Finn Balor, went over Seth Rollins. Like, come on, dude. Like, seriously, man. Like, so why would we actually care about this Fatal 5-Way match? The only person that looks like they have a chance is Samoa Joe. But Seth Rollins has ran roughshod between every single one of those guys. So why would we actually care? And why would we actually be like, oh, I'm going to put my money on it? When it's obvious. It's really obvious that Roman Reigns has all the momentum in the world. And I'm sick of it, man. Like, come on. Like, why does this guy have to win every single week like this? Why does he have to win every single week? Why has he got to beat the top guys? Why did these guys have to go out there and pretend like they just didn't get their shoulders counted to the count of 3 with absolutely no interruption, no smash, no nothing? And we supposed to expect for Seth Rollins or Finn Balor to actually have a chance in winning a Fatal 5-Way match, when it's pretty obvious we see the direction it's going in. Unless something happens, from outside interference, it looks like Roman Reigns is going to win this match. And I'm just sick and tired of it, man. I'm sick and tired of watching Roman Reigns just beat and bury people week after week after week. This was absolutely unnecessary. On free television, you're going to allow Roman Reigns to beat Seth Rollins on free television. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. If you're gonna let this man pin his shoulders to the mat, you could have let him do that on Sunday. It just didn't make any sense to me. But that's your Monday Night Raw review. I thought it was a pretty decent show. Good go home show. I thought they might have phoned it in because it was Memorial Day, but they actually rose to the occasion. They did their thing. You know, they did something. They did okay. You know, I'm not mad at it. They had some solid wrestling. I mean, they had some foolishness. You know, I didn't really like that segment between Goldust and R-Truth. I think that Goldust did an outstanding job. Like Goldust, I mean, that looked like 96 Goldust right there. You know, like when he was doing that promo. I mean, I felt it. I felt like he really felt like he was the star of the show. I know a lot of people look at Goldust and they're like, oh, he's old. He's a thing of the past. But let me tell you something, man. Goldust is one of the greatest gimmicks in WWE history. Yeah, I said it. He's one of the greatest gimmicks in WWE history. He's up there with The Undertaker. And I would debate anybody about that. He has been around almost as long as The Undertaker has been out. Gimmick has been out. And he's one of those guys that, you know, stood the test of time. This guy's in his 50s, man. And he's still going strong. And I enjoyed the promo. And I feel like his promo was discredited because R-Truth, man, even though R-Truth was trying to sound serious, he was trying to sound serious, but I just can't get past R-Truth, you know, trying to be serious, man. I just can't. I can't. This is the guy that walking out there talking to himself and acting like he holding a kid hand and shucking and jiving all over the place. So I just felt like they should have just left, you know, Goldust promo, and if you want to do something probably down the line or something like that, like later on in the night, no, don't let them go back to back like that. I just feel like it just killed the momentum of the promo of Goldust because he did such an outstanding job. I'm not looking forward to these two guys wrestling. I'm really not, because I do not care. The promos tonight were okay to promote a match, but let's just be honest, man. This kickoff? This probably gonna be a kickoff match or something like that to the pay-per-view, and I'm not really caring about what this match has to offer. I mean, some great promo work by Goldust, but not interested in watching him go up against R-Truth. But that is your Monday Night Raw review. Please follow me on social media at TJJones8. Also, follow me on Twitter, Instagram at TJJones8. And then follow me on YouTube.com at TJ Knows Wrestling. This has been TJ Knows Wrestling. Until next time, you already know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. We global. Good night, everybody.